Hey everybody, welcome back to Stand Up Your Tubes, where we control the tubes and the tubes do not control us. Well, I think I might have a pattern that is something new under the sun. So meet Michelle. She isn't just a doll, she's sized perfectly to wear 0 to 3 month outfits. She's your stylish bestie with a flair for fashion and a closet bursting with thrift store treasures. Think cozy hats, colorful onesies, summer dresses, and chic skinny pants with shoes for every occasion. But the real showstopper is Michelle's hair. Made with luscious multicolored yarn, it flows gracefully down her back or bounces playfully in thick pigtails. Her hair is made to be styled, accessorized, and admired. So what are we waiting for? Let's make a doll that turns every outfit and every hairstyle into a whole new story. So what's left? Let's talk about yarn. So this is I Love This Yarn from Hobby Lobby, Toasted Almond, 355 yards. This is what I have left out of that skein, and I used another similar color along with this so that I would have enough to make Michelle with my one skein that I thought was a nice color. Because for me to go to Hobby Lobby to buy more or to actually go anywhere but Walmart is about 3 hours of driving. So I made my one skein work, and I'm going to show you how I did it. So here's my tip. This is also I Love This Yarn, and I had it left over for making my second prototype doll. And so this will be pulled up inside. It's a complementary color. It's not like I'm putting red or something that'll just blare out in between these outer stitches. So here's how we're going to make it, and this is going to be our shoe, and we're going to have a clever way of making the shoe. So here's what you'll crank out. Of your body color, 40 rows of your shoe color, and it could be brown, tan, black, whatever you want. That is 20 rows, and then another 40 rows of our complementary color. That way we're sure that one 355 yard skein is going to be enough. And you can see, peek in here, and you can see that color in there. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure you tie off your yarn tails where you did your color change. I'm going to fold this one in half, pull the this one up inside my skin color. I'll be right back. So this is going to make it so easy to give Michelle a shoe. And at Hobby Lobby, these are called Silly Winks, and they are $1.29, but they're 12 by 18. And so I can get a lot of little soles of my shoes cut out of this. I found it in black, brown. I thought those would make good sole colors. And so this is 0.5 centimeters thick. And when I measure it, it's pretty, has a pretty thick profile on it, but I double it. So doubled, it's right at 1/4 inch. I did a quick little Google search, and Silly Winks showed up on another website for 69 cents, not $1.29. But there is probably a shipping charge involved, so I'm happy with this, and that's going to become the sole of our shoe. I was at the church thrift store. I found some really cute shoes. So if I want the foot to go slide down inside, then I need to make my sole smaller than the sole of the shoe. Make sure that even when I've glued my tube around it, that I can still slide it down inside. So it would be considerably narrower but longer. Hold it on the bottom of your shoe. Make sure you can get that down in there. This one will be easier to get on because it's a little fatter. And so if you have some shoes, if you have a child and you have access to some high tops or whatnot, you might consider that option. So for this Michelle, I'm going to go with the narrower foot and cut 4 of these. And that's going to stiffen up the bottom of my foot so it can actually slip down in the shoe. So I'm going to trace around it 4 times and cut it out. So I double checked to make sure that I could easily slide this down in both shoes. and they're glued together. So now let's go back to our leg tube and make sure, just put a pin in here and make sure that it's turned so that you're on your correct row. And then what we're going to do is glue this pad in. Because we doubled it up, it makes it a little thicker. It'll be easier to glue. And we're just going to glue all the way around the edge. Keep your glue away from the very, very front edge of your sole, and you'll get a nicer look because it won't bubble forward. And then just pull it down over your glue right up to the edge. Hold it in place till it sets up for a minute. Then come around and do your toe. Then fill in on the sides, and you'll have your shoe shape started. I get excited when things are just so cute, and this is so cute. So even before I show you how we're going to do it, this is Michelle's foot. Because the way we're putting her foot together, she can either look like she's just wearing shoes, or we can slip a little sock on and give her a pair of shoes to wear. Isn't that clever? And these are just baby socks. They were at the thrift store, 4 pairs for $1, so a quarter. Okay, so here's the foot down in the shoe. You don't have to have a shoe. If you want to just go where this is the shoe, then you're just going to stuff it out, round out the toe, make sure you fill in the void in the back, and you're going to just start bringing it up. And then the way we shape the shoe, after you round your toe a little bit, is just find the front of your toe, then just make a nice big pleat right here on your color change, and come in and tie that. And that's going to give you your foot shape, and narrow that down. Mine is going to have on a shoe. So with either one, if you can get a big, this is called a smoothie straw, and it's a pretty good size. It is, oh gosh, it's almost a 1/2 inch across. It's very sturdy. And the reason I want to insert it into the legs is so that it gives it some stability when we're trying to push the foot down into the pants and pull the pants up, that the leg isn't just collapsing on itself. It'll be stiff. And I think that's important. If you don't have any straws, they are super, super cheap. And you could even go buy yourself a couple Slurpees and get yourself a nice big fat straw. We're going to have one in each leg. And another option is I have these thinner straws, and I can take 3 of these. It's just optional because the Michelle number the first Michelle doll I made did not have these inserted in, and the legs are fine. But if you just want an even sturdier leg, you could take 3 of these and just get them started, and they'll push right into this straw and make it even sturdier. Like this. So that's an option. It's hard to get them all the way up because they're so snug. You can kind of push down on it a little bit, see if you, as far as you can get them to go up. And what you can't get to go up, just snip off. And I would have this down into the foot part, the sturdier part right here. So before stuffing it, insert your straw all the way down to the pad of the foot. And that is going to give you a leg with stability. So I like it. I hope that you'll get your Slurpee straw. Whether or not you reinforce it with some smaller straws is up to you. So here are your 2 options. If this is going to be your shoe, the one that shows, and you're not going to try to put the store-bought shoes on, then you'll simply stand your toe up, press down. I've stuffed this out so that it has shape. You'll press down, make yourself a nice big pleat, and here's your shoe shape coming together. So I've made a pleat right here, and you'll take your matching yarn and just sew up. So start maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 rows into the shoe, and I know it's black and you can't see, tie it, and then just whip stitch up till you get to the top of your black, and that's going to shape your foot. Now I'm going to pull this out because I want mine to have shoes on. So here's how I'm doing my feet so that I can insert this little foot into a couple different pair of shoes I have. So we need to narrow the ankle down just a little bit. So what I've done for me is this is the row where my tube is kind of turning on. So counting that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's with my V's pointing towards the sole of my shoe. It's just optional which way your V's are going to be pointing. But then I'm going to have, with the V's pointing up, 1, 2, 3, 4 full rows. Then I'm going to come over to the row where the V's are pointed down and mark it with a bobby pin. And those with the rows pointed towards the sole, for me, yours might point this way, it's your option. I'm going to mattress stitch those together to make this narrowed down. And I'm going to start at the color change and come up. Probably, I'll let you know in just a minute how many mattress stitches I do. So let me just turn my pins around because I want to be able to pull them out this way. Okay, so now my pins are going this way so I can grab them and pull them out. I brought my rows together just on just on the outside tube. But I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to tie a knot. So I'm coming in under the row that I'm sewing in, because I want it to be really secure there. Leave myself a yarn tail that I can bury. So I'm going to just give that a nice little knot. Now we're proper mattress stitching. And I'm going to go under 2 bars and 2 bars. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to pull the pins out now because I know what row I'm on. 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8. I'm going to pull that mattress stitch closed and give it a test run into my shoe. So it looked pretty good. So I went ahead and did one more mattress stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and tie it off up here. This is going to be the inside of my leg. And if the doll is dressed and you have pants on, this isn't going to show. So knot it up. I have 2 yarn tails now here that I can bury. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Okay, so now you're going to really lightly stuff out the foot just to give it a little shape, not really trying to get it into the toe so much, but I have a little stuffing down there. Put the shoe on one more time to make sure it would go on, dropping my straw with the part that's reinforced, which is optional, down till it's touching the pad of my sole. And now you can just roll your top down and start gently stuffing up. Don't overstuff your ankle, and then bring it out a little bit like a child's leg. So I'll do one and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so ankles, I'll call where we mattress stitched the ankles, facing in. Our legs are stuffed out around our straws, and the reason I really like the straw is because that gives our leg enough stability without overstuffing it and making it just look way too fat. So I just lightly stuffed all the way around the straw, all the way up. And so they both look about the same, and this will become the inside of my leg. So now do not close the top of this up. Leave it open because I'm going to do the body next, and we're going to have 2 options with the body. And I'll show you what that option is in just a moment. These are doll joints I got off Amazon. They're 2-inch doll joints. They're 3 parts. So you have the post, a washer, and a snap. And the way they work, and I'm going to have a link for you, is on our ankle on the inside, we can pop this through, come down maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 rows. So I want to pop through right about here. And the yarn will just turn right around each side of it. So I want to make sure that I have enough over the top that I can close this up. And then to make it slide on the yarn of the other leg, I'm going to cut little washers out of a really cheap, thin plastic placemat. So I'm going to show you my placemat. Okay, it's just a little dollar store kind of placemat. It's really thin, but it's smooth, and it's going to let my doll joint work better. So I'm just going to turn it over, and there's a lot of glue on here, so I'm going to try to find clean spots. And I'm going to trace around twice, cut it out, and then I'm going to trace the little center part, cut that out. I'll show you in a minute when I have it done. I counted, I'm down 9 rows. And on my prototype, it was 9 rows, so that must be a pretty good count. So here's my little cheap placemat, and I'm going to snap it down because it'll kind of snap on there. And now when this is inserted into the body tube, it's going to have a little buffer in between the yarn, so it's not yarn grinding on yarn, it's just sliding freely. Now I'm going to show you the first Michelle that I made so you can see why this is such a cute option. So here's Michelle number 1 with the doll joints in, and look at this. So she can sit and she can stand. And her clothes look better because it's like a real kid. So I hope that you'll go check out the link in the description. And these doll joints came in like 2 days. You know, Amazon. They probably have them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or some craft store. I didn't look for them. But they were really inexpensive. They average out to about 50 cents per joint. For joint, you know, 3-part joint. Okay, so let's get busy with our body tube. I'm going to go ahead and get my joint in the other leg, making sure that I put it on the side. That's my ankle. If you are going to do the option 1 where these are your permanent shoes, make sure that you insert them so you have a left and a right leg, and don't insert them both on the same side. That's not going to work. Okay, so here's my body. Saving yarn. It's 100 rows on our 46-48 pin, 50-50. Make sure you tie it securely where you do your yarn change. Bring your if you're using 2 different colors, bring it to the inside. So I'm keeping the tan on the outside. And then this is going to make it really easy to put the drawstring in, because right on the color change, we're going to thread up some yarn, and on the tan part, not on our yellow or our inside complementary color. This was pretty much the closest I could get to this and be using the same yarn. So we're just going to go under a row, over a row, under a row, so that we can cinch this up. When you get all the way around with yours, just leave it there and wait for me. I'll be right back on. Alrighty, so I have my drawstring all the way through, so I'm going to just thread up one of them, and I'm just eyeballing center. So I'm just coming through the back of the tube so that I can tie these 2 in a bow. This is the last thing that we will secure while making this doll, because this is our portal to add stuffing, to fine-tune our shoulders, to make our hips look good. So do not tie this in a knot. But here we have the center, and let's bring it together like this. So we're making a butterfly shape like this. This is just the easiest way to know how to line up your legs that I've ever found. I want to make sure that when I insert it into the center of this tube that I have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 stitches showing underneath, 3 to 4, so that we can close this up at the bottom. So I've laid it on here. I can see that I've got some clearance down here. And I'm just going to mark the center where it's going in, put my fingers to the inside, and work that post through gently. It'll go right through, right through. Okay, ankle in, or you might have toe up and toe up. Coming to the other side over here, making sure I still have my butterfly shape, rolling it over, and inserting this one the same way. And here they are, popped through. Put our inside washer on. There's rings on it that I think grab the fabric, and I don't want grabbing, so I'm putting these rings up because I want smooth action. And putting each one on with my ribs up. No instructions. This is just how I'm going to do it. And I like to put my washers on so they look like little bird baths, like they would hold water. Because if I go this way, I can't get as many snaps. If I go this way, I can get more snaps on it. I feel it's more secure. So I'm going to go ahead and snap mine on. I'm going to show you my technique. So I'm standing up over top of it so that my weight can come down on it. This is going to invert when I push on it, which is fine. So standing over top of it, I'm pushing down, and now I can get it to snap, and I'm just going to bring it back up, and I have secure doll joints. I have the weakest hands, but with my body strength over top of it, that's really easy for me. I hope that you'll use doll joints. It just makes it so lovely. And here they are inserted, and our legs now are mobile. So it's as easy as that. So let's just take out some of the slack, and we're going to start stuffing up towards the neck. So I'm going to spin it around, close this neck up around about 3 or 4 fingers because we want to be able to stuff from both ends. And if you're hopefully intermediate, because I'm not showing you how to make tubes and whatnot, you already know that once you cinch this up, it can be a struggle to release it and get it to open back up again. So I have a good 4 fingers up here for right now. I'll be stuffing from both directions. We can take care of our tubes right here. So get your yarn tails. We can start cinching this up. I want to put extra batting right on top of this straw. I'm going to make sure I've pushed it down into the pad of my foot and that I'm happy with the stuffing all the way up. So here's my little wad of stuffing on top of the straw, and I'll go ahead and cinch this inside part of the tube up over it. There we go. And then cinch this up. Make sure I don't have too much right here in my hip area, although we're going to bring our hips in, so fear not. So I'm going to go ahead and do both of them that way. And when I have them cinched up, tied, I'll bury my yarn tail into my leg, not into the body. Buried. Everything secured. Open. And now let's start stuffing the body. And we have to bear in mind that Michelle is going to wear a 0 to 3 month size onesie, so we don't want to get her too fat. And here's where your third straw is going to go. I wanted to show you a couple straw options. So this is a smaller straw, and I could get this little one to go right up inside it, and it would kind of sturdy it up. But it's so hard to get 3 straws to go up into my smoothie straw, and I bought like 40 of them for 99 cents at my Texas H-E-B. But I'm going to put 2 of them up in here just to give it a little more stability. It'll go right up in there. That's going to go up through the center of the body so that she can sit up and she won't want to slouch forward. So I'm going to lightly stuff all the way up to the neck and then just make myself a little tunnel with my hands. I'm going to insert the straw all the way up to the neck, and it'll be almost a perfect length. And then I'm going to stuff around it. I'm going to get my onesie out and put it on just to make sure I don't have her too big for her onesie. Lightly stuffed, just inserting the straw right up towards the neck. There it is. Okay, so we want to keep it centered while we're stuffing. Front, back, sides. The straw stays to the center. And that is going to allow us not to make her body too fat, but have the stability of the straw up in there. It'll be squishy. She'll be soft and squishy, but she'll have sturdy legs and a sturdy torso. So I'm going to stuff a little more and I'll be right back on with you. Okay, so we need a belly button. So before we get stuffed out too much, let's just decide where a belly button would go. My belly button is pretty much lined up with my hips, so I'm thinking like maybe about right here. So what I want to do, I want to have a full row that I'm tying over so that I can actually see my belly button. So I'm going to come in, go all the way in, and come up at the back of the straw. So I'm embedding my straw between the belly button. Okay, so I'm going over my straw, coming back up, keeping one full row in between my belly button. So now I have the straw that I can tie against. So I looped under the straw. I'm going to tie it 3 times because you can actually see your belly button. You know, we want that indentation to show. 1, 2, 3. And now we have the suggestion of a belly button without a divot at the back, which is not a good look. So I'm going to go ahead and bury these yarn tails into the body and fine tune my stuffing coming up towards her head. Now that my belly button's in, I'm going to tie a bow down here. I don't have to get it exceptionally tight, but just snug it up and tie a bow. We'll bring these hips in. It'll look so much better once we do that, but we're not quite ready. And now I'm going to view it from the top. I need to have stuffing up in here, so we have shoulders. I can push my straw down. It's short enough that it'll just be inside there. You know what I mean? So let's stuff out. Let's get our little shoulders in here. I'm going to grab a onesie and put the onesie on. We have a little extra room to make her a little fatter because we don't want her clothes to look saggy. So I'm up at the top now, up at her neck, and I'm going to start fine-tuning her. Flipping it over, making sure there's a little butt back here. And when I've done that, pat it out this a little bit. Don't overstuff it so that her onesie's tight. We want it to go on easily. I'll come back on and show you what I have come up with. Okay, so check it out. Not too fat. Has some shoulders. I kept stretching my tube because I don't want it short and fat. I'm stretching it up to fill out this onesie. It's just amazing to me. Look at this. So here we go. Okay, so I hope you'll stay with me here, but we're back to straws again. So we have a neck that doesn't flop forward, backwards into each side. Okay, so this might seem odd, but this is a redo because after I had put 2 straws together, they were the 1/2-inch smoothie straws to stabilize the neck. I realized that they would pull apart while I was working on the doll. So here's my tip. I know that we have a fatter straw, or you might not, who knows, but just flatten the end down. This is just a demo, and you can kind of fold it over just a little bit to make it a little thinner, and then you can push it down inside your straw like this, and pretty soon you'll have it all the way together. But when you're inserting the second straw, you're going to have to put a little glue right here or it can pull apart, and that's what happened to me. So I'm just coming in to tell you that I'm asking you to take another straw and to just pull the straw up out of the body enough that you can see the end of it. Press your straw together so that it's a little bit thinner. Insert it down this way into the body straw. Then pull it back up a little bit, put glue around it, hot glue, push it together, let it dry, and then you'll have a nice long straw that sticks out of the top of the head. So all I'm doing is asking you to use glue. There we go. So now, when we close up the bottom, we can elongate our top, cinch our neck in, insert our head over this, and it's going to add some more stability. So we'll just let this lay here and move on to our arms. On the 22 pin, 50 rows, take some of the loopiness out of each end. I go over 4 fingers. Do both of them. All right, so I'm going to give you some of my measurements because this is so easy to make this little hand. This is my fold. So when I cut it out, I'm going to have my felt folded, cut out my pattern, and place that on the fold. So this is 3 inches. This is 5 by 3. From the fold over to the extension of the thumb is 2.5 inches. The wrist is between 1 1/4 and 1 1/2, minus 1 1/4. So I'm going to just, and it's like a little mitten shape. So I'm going to cut my little mitten shape out. This doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. You might come up with a shape that you think looks better, a better proportion. You might be artistic. So here's my pattern, and I'm going to fold it over. So your felt has a right and a wrong side. So pick the side you like and make that fold to the inside. So when you're tracing on the wrong side of the felt. So I have both of them traced, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out on my pen lines. And you have to have one on the fold because that's less gluing. Okay, so here is my pattern on the fold. You can see the pen mark. I have it so that my pen is on the inside where I traced, and this is the more fuzzy, appealing outside. So you don't want to just have it open and start gluing and then fold it over because it might not fold over straight. So fold it over, get all your edges lined up, and then pull it back. Run a small bead of glue on the inside, not all the way out to the edge, so that it bubbles out around that thumb, down into the wrist. There we go. Fold it over, line up your edges, cut it down, and then if there's any irregularity, we can just trim that. So let that dry. Save this for another doll, and we're going to lightly stuff it out just to give it a little bit of shape, really lightly. And when this dries, we'll do that. So here's my first one, and here's my tip. You have to do the little thumb first, because once you get this stuffed, you can't really get to the thumb anymore. And our hands go like this, thumbs up. So when I do the arms, it'll be thumbs up. And now I can just trim a little bit around the edge. To make that hand just look a little bit cuter, narrowing down the thumb a little bit, not so much into the wrist because that's not that important. All right, the same thing on this one. Narrowing the thumb down just a tiny bit. 2 little paw pads stuffed all the way out to the end. Now I'm just going to drop a little piece of glue right on the inside edge here and press it together so that I can keep my stuffing in. Just needs to be just enough to keep that stuffing up in there. Hold it till it's dry. Paw pad. Boom. I'm going to cinch up over my fingers again. And when I mattress stitch this closed, I'm going to be mattress stitching with my little paw pad coming out. Bringing my thumb up, making sure my yarn tail comes out at the right position. Cinch it up over 3 or 4 fingers, probably for me 4. So here it is, right here on the top, not somewhere else. It has to be coming out here because we're sewing with it. And so this is lined up. Okay, and pressing it shut, ready to start mattress stitching. We're not going all the way up because we're going to round out our shoulder a little bit when we sew it onto the body. All right, so you can unplug your glue gun now. Okay, so I'm on the edge. My little hand is nice and secure. Cinch this up, pull your yarn tail so it's nice and snug around the wrist. Come over here and tie a knot. Go under your loops. Now, it just happens to be that my bees are facing this way, and so that's going to be what I am going to start mattress stitching into. So 2 bars, 2 bars. When you get about this far up, start putting a little stuffing. Get up to here, a little more stuffing. Don't go all the way to the top. I'll get back on and I'll show you how we're going to do the top of the arm. So stay down, you know, like maybe 10 rows for right now. Okay, so I've done a couple inches and I'm just going to start stuffing it down all the way to the wrist. Not overstuffing it, not stretching out my stitches, pulling it closed all the way down to the end. I think that's going to be a cute little hand. I love it. We have a little thumb. I like it. So keep going, stay down about 10 rows. I'm going to get both of them there and then get back on the camera. I went ahead and took a bobby pin and just counted 10 rows down so I'd know where to stop. Have this stuffed out, and I'm just going to pull that enough to give that arm a little bit of a curve and tie this off. And bury my yarn tail because it's not long enough to sew with. So I'm knotting it. This is going to be the underarm. And buried. So there we go with a little hand. Do the same on this one. We're getting the shoulder ready to put on. So we have 10 stitches that we didn't sew. So let's snug this up. Not like we're trying to make the top of a beanie, but just so that it's rounded up here. When we sew it on, we'll be back 1 stitch off of our cast on or cast off row. And so let's tie a knot. I have enough yarn here to sew with, I do believe, so I'm going to sew with it. But first I'm going to join my tube, not real tight, but just to secure this so that it's like this. Now I have a little bit of a rounded shoulder. And when I sew up here and back a little row off, it's going to give me a nice shoulder up there. Don't close it all the way up because we have to put some stuffing in. So leave a little opening. So I'm going to let a little bit of this straw stick out the bottom here, so I know I'm in all the way. Cinch this head up, neck up enough that I can still get into it. So I'm going to keep at least 3 fingers in here, but I want to be able to see where my neck is. I know I'll probably want to come in from the bottom and add. So I'm just tightening this up a little bit. I can do most of my fine tuning stuffing from the bottom. Okay, here we go. So how are we going to put the arms on? So we can now sit it up. It sits so nice. Okay, so our thumbs go up. That's important to remember. Thumbs up. So we're going to find our shoulders, hold them both up. And because we pulled on that mattress thread until we had our little shape going, so now we're going to put them up here. Remember that this is going to cinch up around the straw. We need to have several rows right here. So if I were to count it, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, and that's counting the one going over my cast on and cast off row. So down 5, lined up so that it's over the hip. Here's the back of our leg. We're going to pull that in, but just bring it straight up and start sewing around. Opening this up, so it's still going to be doubled. Open it up to give us a shoulder when you're sewing it. We're opening it. That's why we only sewed up to here. So here's my yarn tail that I thought was long enough to sew with. Counting down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want 5 rows to show. I'm lined up over my leg. So I'm just going to come in. When I come onto the arm, I'm not going to go into the row that I have over my cast on. I'm going to come down 1, and that's going to give me a really nice look. I'm going to come into the next stitch, going deep, getting some stuffing, coming back off 1 row from my cast on, cast off. When I pull it, I get a perfect little seam without having to use waste yarn or to do anything special. Keep it open as you're coming down. When you come around, lift your arm up, catch everything underneath, have a little 2-finger opening, and now I want to stuff this out. So we have a shoulder. Let's sit it up to see what that looks like. Goes this way because our belly button tells off. Well, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to get a little bit more right here. I can see the break, but all in all, it's a good looking shoulder. So get both of yours done, and we'll go on to the next step. Our head on the 46 or 48 pin, and I'm actually using 46 pin Addies, 50 rows. Then we're just going to fold it in half, line up our outside edges, and once you get them nicely lined up, I don't have mine quite lined up, but you're going to thread up a needle and do a pull cord here where you go under a row, over a row, under, over, so we can cinch it closed. Okay, I could get 2 fingers in the bottom, and we're going to start stuffing so that we can figure out where our eyes are going to go. And we need to have some shape in our head so we can figure out the placement. So I'm getting a little round shape. And I'm going to get my eyes out. Okay, so these are my 24 millimeter eyes from Amazon with lots of different colors of backings. They don't show as well as I wish they could through the eye, but you can see it. So what I like about them is that they have such nice, big, sturdy backs that I feel like they are not going to pull through or pull out or cause any problems. This is my phenomenal Amazon tool that sets up to a 30 millimeter eye. And again, these are 24. The post goes through. It's so easy. I struggle with these particular eyes. Just really, really struggle with them. So I'm so happy about this. The way I've placed these in here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 full rows showing. I think that looks pretty good. So I like it. I'll tell you how many rows down it is from the top in case you want to make yours the same. So how many are showing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then the 10th one is wrapped around my cast on, cast off row. So that's how many are showing above it. And I'm going to go ahead and count this one and we'll snap the backs on. So now that they're placed, I'm going to go ahead and untie the bow at the top. So what I love about bows, and go ahead and put the backing on each one of these using my tool. If not, if you have nice strong hands, you'll be snapping yours on with your hands, but watch this. I can really hear that snap. I don't know if you can because both of my air conditioners are running. It's kind of loud. And this is just a real hand saver. So happy I ordered them, and they are nice and secure. So now through the 2-finger opening, I want to give my little guy or girl chin. So I'm just going to pop some more stuffing in through the bottom here. Work this little chin forward. So we have something more like this and not just a totally flat face. And maybe a few little wads into the cheeks. Just shaping this head. Just fine-tuning it before we close it up. All right, so here's my little face with a little bit of extra stuffing right here to give it a shape. Now I'm closing up the top of my body tube around my straws, and I did leave some extra sticking out at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and tie these yarn tails. I'm going to shorten the light yellow one because I know I'm not going to sew with that. And secure this around my straw. And I want to work this straw. It'll be really easy because this head is small. I can just run my fingers right down through the very center of the top. Work my fingers through the batting, through the stuffing, until I'm popping out the center of the neck. There's my finger. Okay, there we go. And we still need to do some more shaping on the head, but this is kind of what it's looking like. So I'm going to go ahead and snug this neck tube up. Once again, shorten one of the yarn tails down so that I don't have such a mess here. So here they are. They both are right here. I'm going to go ahead and tie them. I already have one that I can sew with, so I'm going to shorten them down. And once I sew around the neck, then I'm going to start making this head bigger and working more on the chin. So I'm going to go ahead and position my head. When I have deep V's like this where it's coming together, I get my needle down into them and pull them up so that I get a nice looking neck. Like, don't leave it. Don't just skip over those stitches, but get into all those stitches and you'll have a nice looking neckline. I sewed around the neck 2 times, tied it off, and buried the yarn tails. And now I want to get this head stuffed out even better. Alrighty, so I still have a bow right here, and it's time to bring these legs in. So I did the other doll this way, and I know that I have weak fingers, and just the tip of this is going to be showing when I poke it through. So I have a little pair of pliers here to grab that tip and pull that on through. So come in right on top of where you can feel the top of your washer in there. You can feel your needle get right on it, come all the way through. You can feel it on it, so you can just aim it up just a little bit, come on through the leg. And here's where it's hard for me to pull it because I just don't have enough needle right here. So I can take my pliers and use them to pull it on through. So much easier. And we have a loop right here because we're using double yarn, so we're nice and secure. Okay, so we're just bringing the hips in. So roll it over, coming back in, feeling for the top of my washer in there. That worked pretty good. Okay, holding it stitched together so I can grab that needle. You could use a pair of needle nose pliers, or you might have stronger hands than I do. That's through. Okay, so now when we pull on these yarn tails, it brings the top of the legs in, but they'll still rotate. So we can still sit down. All right, and I'm going to tie these off. I love it that the legs are coming into the body and that they're not just sticking out. And give it a double knot and bury these yarn tails. Okay, so I'm going to open up the bottom of my tube here. Okay, so I have a square of felt here that I'm gluing a wad of stuffing to. So this is just going to go over the end of the straw so that I don't feel that point coming down there. With this wad of batting on stuffing on the end, I'm going to center it over the end of the straw and start cinching this closed. Press that down, and I'm going to let that just go right over the top of the straw, centering that over the straw. Starting to close it up around my felt. I'm going to tie this, and our little body is looking pretty good. So my head is closed up. I just got it as the circle as small as I could get it, then just whip stitched across, came back over, tied my yarn tails together. I have my nice big piece of felt and a wad of stuffing over the top so that straw is down in there. My body's elongated, pretty sturdy. So let's do some fine tuning on the face. I have some white yarn, and it's most likely, I love this yarn because it's really nice and fluffy. You know, it feels soft. And I'm going to use it to put some whites around the eyes and make them more beautiful. So I'm going to come in where I know I'll have hair, back at the back, and come up right on the top of my eye. Leave myself a nice long yarn tail. And come over. I'm in my first little open center of my row right here. Come under the eye, as close as you can get. And come back over. That's giving us some whites to our eyes. So go deep so you don't see this traveling under your yarn. Come up on the top of the next eye. Do the same thing at my first open hole right here, coming up close underneath, almost. Okay, and back. And that's going to give me a lot of pop to my eye. Come back out a little bit, one bar off of where you went in, so when you tie it, it doesn't pull through. And what a difference, huh? Now we can see these eyes. So tie it off onto the side. Bury your yarn tails. Thread up a nice long piece of your body color. And let's do a little nose. Just a little button nose going across right here. So I'm going to come back in on the side again. Come up right in here. This is subjective. It's where I don't know how you positioned your eyes, so it's where you think the nose will look cute. I have one full row here, one full row here, so I think I'll just come in right here and just have a cute little button nose here going back and forth. I'm not going to pull this yarn so snug that I distort the little nose. I don't want to distort it. Back in. That's 2. So this adorable button nose is 10 times in the exact same 2 holes. And I kept my yarn, so every time I kept my yarn up on top and then kept it up on the top so it didn't twist. And when I went in the 10th time, I just brought it back out to the side right here, one little bar away so it doesn't pull back through, and I'm just going to tie it off and bury my yarn tails. So now I have a nice long length of black, and I'm going to come in back here where I know there'll be hair, come right up in the center here of the eye, leave myself a yarn tail, bring it down under the white, go in on the outside of the white, so I'm outlining, coming up on the top, bringing it back down. So we're giving a lot of definition to the eye. I want to be at least one bar away from where I went in. So when I tie this off in the hairline, it doesn't pull right back through. All right, and just snugging that up around that white. Some soulful eyes. Give her some eyebrows. So coming in back at the back again, one full row past the eye. This is subjective though, however you want your eyebrows to look. Leave myself a nice long yarn tail, and I'm going to come straight up above the eye to give it a curve. Come over. You'll see the shape in just a minute. And then come back in. So I have a row, and I went into the second row, so here's my full row, here's my second row. I'm going to come in right about here, just trying to make them look about the same. A full row, I need to be right here. She's getting hair next. So there's an eyebrow. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. What do you think? Eyebrows. I know they're not perfect, but Michelle's not perfect. Whose face is symmetrical, right? I love it. Hobby Lobby again. $4.99 every other week. It's 1/3 off. And this is a 6-ply. They're calling it True Colors. And I thought, I want to give her some outrageous hair. This has white in it, gold in it, kind of a black in it. And I thought, I think that'll make some pretty nice looking hair. If I attach it here, it's going to give her a nice long hair. Okay, so this is a latch hook. It has a little latch right here that opens and closes. And for attaching the hair, this is available at Walmart and all craft stores. They are not expensive. And make sure when you get one that it has a big enough hook that it actually can grab your yarn. And remember, this is a 6-ply, and this is just a pretty standard size. So I want to show you on the doll. I've already attached the hair, but I want to show you how I attached it so you can get your hair on. Here we go. So this is Michelle's hair, and I purposely used the latch hook to attach it so that the loop that would be formed when we pull it through would be against the front of her face. I just thought it gave it a really nice look. And the way we do it is we fold our yarn in half. So if I'm going to put one right here in the center, I go under a row. I'm going to just grab my hair. When I come back through, see what's happening to the little latch? It's closing. And that easily lets me pull this through. Then just undo it. For me, this is easier. And just pull these through. And then you tighten it up. You can also do it this way. But I found it easier just to let go of it and use my fingers. The way the latch hook is meant to work is you close it, and then this opens it again. You grab both ends of your yarn, it closes again, and you just pull it through like this. But I liked using my fingers because it's a great big 6-ply and it's just as easy to grab it like this. Well, now that we know how easy it is to put hair on with a latch hook, I want to show you how easy it was and what my technique was to put this beautiful hair on. So first of all, I went up to the top and I decided how long I wanted her hair to be, and I went way too long and then ended up cutting an awful lot of it off, probably about this much. So I wasted a lot of yarn. So be realistic. You're going to take one piece of yarn and it's going to be folded in half. So if this was 10 inches coming down, then your yarn would be 20 inches long. So decide the length. I like the length that I have right here. And then see how beautiful her hairline is? We had the bobby pins coming around. So I just latched one on, latched, worked all the way around my hairline, and then just came in behind it. Did the next row. Came all the way around the top, then did a third row. That was quite a bit of hair. So then I just came all the way to the nape of her neck and did a row right along the nape of her neck, then filled in up until she had a luxurious head of hair. Then when I was completely done, look how beautiful it is. I looked into it, and if I saw something that bothered me and I thought I needed to have a strand of hair there, I added into it. But let me show you. Like right here, that's a pretty good size gap, and I promise you that will never show. But now that I see it, I would probably go in with the latch hook and put one right here. But all in all, with this beautiful 6-ply yarn, it's totally covered. It's beautiful. And I just love it that her hair just goes right back to a beautiful shape. Isn't that just amazing? So just fill it all in until you have luxurious hair. Don't make it too long or you're going to need to get into a second skein like I did because I made her hair. I cut it like 28 inches every strand. But when you get down towards the nape of the neck, you can keep shortening the hair. So keep measuring it. You'll save a lot that way because you don't need the same length to get from here down as you do from the back of the neck down. So keep that in mind and you'll save a lot of yarn. So have fun. And I'm about to tell you how I put this little mouth on. Easy as can be. All right, so let's do a mouth. I'm making the simplest little mouth, coming in from the side here where I can hide that, coming up right in the corner of the eye, the corner of the eye, the row coming down. Then, so I popped out here, came over to here. Then I came down just enough to make that mouth have just a little bit of a shape to it. And I'm gonna go right back in here, come out over here, pull that yarn tail through so I can not pull too tight. There we go. Now I can just pull that down, and I'm going to just keep it really simple. So what do you think? Michelle is finished. She sits really well. She has rotating legs, beautiful hair that is, I just love touching it. It is the most magnificent head of hair. She's just so cute and so easy and quick to make. So I hope you will make a doll for someone special.